I can give you 15 years of backstory of all of our issues, but I feel that is unfair. It would be only my side, so I'll just give a quick synopsis as to not place blame. About the same time, my husband became very overwhelmed with bills, began lying, taking out loans I never knew about just to cover the bill.
If he was on his fucking deathbed or if he was shot or in a car accident, how would you feel tomorrow? Would you be fucking, oh God, please don't take my husband?
Yeah.
Or would you be like, fuck it, God, I'm good, take him so I don't have to get a divorce?
Yeah.
Because your answer to that question is going to tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah. It looks so good. Did you ever think you'd have a recipe book with your last name on it?
Nope.
How does that make you feel as the man of the house?
It makes me feel pretty good. I have a lot of weight behind my last name.
Yeah.
But I've never had anybody take that to the same level you have.
And we're back.
So dramatic.
Always.
So I've learned
Yes.
that with the shorter intro, it takes me, I'm not ready by the time I sit down because the intro ends.
Yeah, it's quick.
Yep. Tis a thing.
Tis a thing.
Oh man,
It's been a day.
it has been. And
A lot going on.
right. So you posted pictures of the apron today in Discord.
In the women's group, I did.
Yeah. And this is going to be exciting for the people who are actually in the women's group because by the time they see this, they'll be like, oh my God, that's how backlogged they are.
Yeah.
And that happened today. We actually got to see them. I think we liked the apron. We picked that out. We have to, I forgot to send him those files. Oh, he said he had them. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
okay.
he has it.
Which is why I didn't think about it any further.
I do have to ask him if it comes in different colors, though.
The apron?
Yeah.
It does.
It does?
Yep. Do you want a different color?
Well, I have women asking.
Okay. Well, what color do you want? Because
Well, someone recommended a gray.
that one was gray. The back of it, that one was
Right.
gray.
I wouldn't mind having one in like a dark umber color.
I don't think that's going to be an option.
No.
No.
Or like a sienna.
That's probably also not going to be an option. It's probably going to say like dark tan.
Caramel.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with a caramel.
Yeah, they're not going to use those labels, but I'll text him when we're done and tell him to send the other photos of what he has.
Okay.
Or you can. I forgot you have his number. I don't have to play middleman. Yes.
Correct.
What are we going to do about shirts on the next run?
Oh,
Do we want to drop 3 shirts in one shot?
like,
The You're the Problem shirt, although we have to phrase that in a way that it proclaims accountability and not throwing shade at other people. And then his home, her piece, or his piece, her home. It's technically 3 shirts.
we could do the front of the shirt that says, "My life is dope. Ask me how." And the back of the shirt would say, "I recognized I was the problem."
That actually has my brain going. That might work. Because then we can still do You're the Problem.
Yeah.
My life is dope AF. Ask me how. And then on the back, be like, by realizing that you're the problem.
Yeah. By realizing you're the problem.
Right.
With the quotation marks. I think that needs to be on there too.
Yeah. Put it around your.
Yeah.
That might do the job. We'll have to run it by the wizards.
The wizards.
See what they say.
Wizards?
We recorded. This is my 3rd time recording today.
It is, yeah.
I did my vlog this morning about the submarine. We recorded that wonky ass Ruminations that I don't think we're going to use. That was definitely a trial run that I don't want to do again.
Yeah.
That felt very robotic and not enjoyable for me.
Yeah, it felt very jumbled.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit it anyways, and
See
if
where
it's
it goes.
usable, I'm gonna post it because it's content. I'm not gonna just delete it. It's not like we were being mean. It was just fucking weird.
It was all over the place.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens when we edit that.
There was definitely a topic there. It just wasn't enough of the topic to get into
Right.
conversations the way we usually do.
Well, it's because I don't even think it's that. We're very matter of fact about that topic. Like it's cut and dry for us. There's not a whole lot of conversation to even be had in that.
Yeah.
This is episode 30.
Shut up.
It is. This is episode 30.
Wow.
Yep. 30.
I can't wait to get to episode 100.
Yeah. What are we gonna do for that?
I don't know. I can go swimming with sharks.
You could do that anyways. You want to do that anyways.
I do want to do that. Could I do that for 100,000?
I mean, we're like 1,500 away from that. 1,400 away from that.
Oh, I bet it's a lot of money to do that.
I mean, I doubt it, but
I don't want to be in the cage. I want to be like in the water,
I don't know about all that.
floating around, doing the thing.
I,
Oh, I want to see a whale shark.
Okay, we'd have to. Okay, you're getting way off base here.
Okay.
We were talking about doing something in the state of Florida.
Okay, I need.
And now
I need
you're
calm
wanting to
down.
go to like the other coast and north.
Okay, I'll relax. I'll reel it in a little bit.
It'd be expensive to swim with sharks. So I want to go swim with whales.
A whale
Because
shark.
that wouldn't be fucking expensive at all.
Whale
you know,
shark.
the flight to the other coast and going north and finding the boat.
Yeah.
And a hotel stay. That wouldn't be expensive at all.
It would be costly.
Yeah.
A little up there. 1 million followers.
Yeah. We'll see.
I think whale sharks are my favorite aquatic animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can actually swim with those things.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I getting the animal wrong?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it is a whale shark. Yeah. People swim with whale sharks.
Okay.
100,000. What were you asking about? That wasn't what you asked me about.
That wasn't at all what I was asking.
What did you ask?
I don't remember.
Sorry, I'm like this.
It's entertaining. I don't remember what we were talking about. You said for 100,000, can you go swimming with sharks? And I was going to look at my phone to find out if you can go swimming with sharks in the state of Florida. And you were like, without a cage. And I'm like, I don't know about all that.
I really don't know what I want to do for 100,000. People keep asking me.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I don't know. Maybe get my face painted.
That's funny.
I was thinking maybe a new purse.
Yeah.
But I was like, I have a purse and it does everything I need it to do. Maybe new heels.
Yeah. I'm putting together new go bags currently. So I did order a whole bunch of stuff for everyday carry shit, tools and things for the vehicles, move things around, update stuff, new med kits.
Yeah.
Not for 100,000, but because it's time. So, but if you wanted to buy a new purse or something, updating backpack, I did just buy a backpack. To be fair, my backpack's not. To be fair, the backpack's not going to cost nowhere near as much as a purse does. It was like $200. Your
Yeah.
purses are like $3,000. Very different.
Right.
Very different.
I think I'd like to go to the Louis store just to
We
gander.
can go down there. Go down there this weekend if you want to.
Okay. Just to take a look. I'm thinking I want a white purse.
Yeah.
Yeah. With like the brown logo or what is that? The logo.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll look.
I don't know if they have white ones. Did they last time we were there?
I
don't remember.
have the app on my phone.
Oh.
And I've been searching.
So you've been wanting to go.
I've just been looking. Well, I've been really pondering like 100,000. You got me my first Louis bag last year.
Mm-hmm.
That was a moment for me. So I don't want to just be like, let's go get a Louis. I want it to be
Meaningful.
meaningful. Yeah.
I get that because of my car.
Yeah.
The dream car. It's got to have meaning behind it. Otherwise, you're just
buying it.
right. I had I before all of this, I collected watches,
Oh yeah.
and I had a very extensive watch collection. And like Tag Heuers are nice watches. They're low end, high end watches. Like they're $2,000 to $30,000-$40,000. Brettlings, in my opinion, are like
Top dog shit.
they're up there. You know you got a good watch when you buy a Bentley and they give you a Breitling watch with it, and it's the only way to get the Bentley Breitling watch.
Brentley watch.
Breitling, yeah.
Brentley?
Yeah.
Brentley watch.
Breitling.
Bretling? Like Yingling? Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? No.
Do you understand the words coming out
I
of your
know.
mouth? Okay.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
That's
Anyways, the first time I was able to actually buy myself a Breitling, I went in there and I was like, I put it on, I tested it, they removed the links, and I was like, I really think that I want this watch. And I was checking out and I was like, I don't think I want this. And I left. And there was that weird moment for me where like I could do something that I always really wanted to do.
and then you're like,
But do I need it right now? Because like I could afford it at the time, but it wasn't like I could really afford it. Like I was
scraping, getting it.
like I would have been broke for a couple of days until more money came in, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then like 6 months later, I went in there and just fucking bought the watch I wanted. And it wasn't the same one that I was looking at. It was a nicer watch. And it was that aha moment for me. And like knowing that I own a Breitling, because I am a watch guy, says a lot. I've worn that watch 3 times since I bought it.
Wow.
It sits in my watch box in my room. I don't even look at it. It's in my closet. It's in a watch box in my closet. I don't even see the watch. I wear my Garmin all the time because it has so much more function than a Breitling. I wonder if my disconnect from social media and my want to remove myself from that will get me to wear my other watches.
Maybe. I never even thought about that.
Because I wear it because I don't want to hear my phone go off.
Right.
It would be constantly. But if I remove Facebook and I remove all of the emails that are not my personal emails and turn my ringer on, my phone ain't never going to make noise because it's all business shit constantly. And if I use the other phone, because there's nothing on there,
Right.
I could delete everything and just put a brand new personal email with no spam on it that is only used for my managers and like the wizards. I could just leave the ringer on all the time. That phone would go off like maybe once a week? Like that'd be gangster. That might have to happen. maybe when we move back to when the new iPhone comes out, I'll move that Android device to an iPhone so that I can do that. Yeah. Because I don't like the Android thing. I don't. Really? I don't at all. Not even a little bit.
No? Mm-mm. Did that one come with a pen?
Yeah, it's built into the phone. It's in the bottom of it.
Yeah. Can I use that phone?
We'd have to swap the
SD cards and shit.
No, your phone has digital.
Yeah, that's right.
We'd have to take it in and swap them.
It's a different provider where that phone is.
Yeah, it's Verizon. Yeah, the other ones are T-Mobile. That's one of the few things that I buy new every year when they release.
I'm going to think about that.
I do want a new watch. Garmin makes the Mark, which is like the high-end Garmin watch. It's like $2,000, but it's digital. But it has like an actual watch band instead of this bullshit. And if I'm hiking, this makes way more sense than a nice watch. Yeah. But this is the only thing I ever wear. I don't even take this thing off. I take it off to charge it. That's it.
And shower.
Yep, and shower because I don't want funky arm underneath of it.
I want to get a watch like that. I used to have the Apple Watch. I didn't like how bulky it is. I have very thin, bony wrists. Yeah. And the like the actual watch part, my wrist bone would constantly it was just an issue.
They make really small Garmins. They make dainty female Garmins.
I would love a dainty one.
They're nice. I mean, it's very dope to have everything connected. And if we're at lunch, I don't have to pull my phone out every time it goes off. I can look and see if it's relevant and if I need to check it. Yeah. It makes a world of difference. I really want to go to Las Vegas.
I know.
I really think that I might buy the tickets for that shit. I know that we talked about this a little bit ago, but like I'm like hyper fixating on it. Kind of like that truck. Hyper fixating on the truck too, but the truck is not a necessity. It's just a stupid want. And I may even look used and just buy a beater so that we have something to throw the bikes in. But I really do. I think I really want to go to Vegas in September. Okay. And I know that we've had a lot of people that live out there like, hey, if you guys are ever in Vegas, let us know, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot to do in Vegas. Right. You know, we could meet up with people and go do a show. Like the Cirque du Soleil shows out there are a lot of fun. And, if there's photographers out there that want to meet up with us, we could do the Death Valley thing and fucking do astrophotography or do a ghost town or something just to meet up with people while we're there. But I got to be honest, even that would need to be really planned. Yeah. And depending on what's going on between now and then, if we ever hear back from some of the people we reached out to, we could revolve the trip around that. And then I can maybe talk AJ and Michelle into going out there so that I have other people to do shit. Anyways, I don't know. What do you mean other people to do shit? Like, to do the background shit. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Let's get into some emails. All right. Because we have to go live in a little bit. We also have to get food for dinner. All right. So this email is titled, Please Help. Hello, my favorite couple. I'm absolutely in love with your content, and I am in awe of the love you two clearly have for one another and the respect that you have for each other. I'm writing to you today for help with my marriage. I can give you 15 years of backstory of all of our issues, but I feel that is unfair. It would be only my side, so I'll just give a quick synopsis as to not place blame. I feel like we've read this already. Maybe. There was a couple of them in that folder that were already read. No, we haven't read this. Just that word synopsis, that was in another email where I was like, I don't hear that often. We both have our fair share, and now here we are, our marriage in shambles. What a word to describe a marriage. When I hear the word shambles, I think of the Holocaust, the bombings in Poland, and people walking down their street and it's just rubble. That's what I think of when I hear the word shambles. So to say that my marriage is in shambles, what a very
desolate, lonely, heartbreaking place to be. I met the love of my life when I was 18 and he was 27. A month after we got pregnant. Oh, a month after we met, I got pregnant. This relationship never should have lasted, but we grew something pretty beautiful out of a rough beginning. I was so young, misdiagnosed as bipolar, and he has bipolar too, as well as a personality disorder. He was my rock, my safe place, so we grew together and we grew our family. We now have 4 absolutely amazing kids. About a year ago, I began to look for help with my mental health, and I found an amazing psych. I was severely misdiagnosed. I'm actually not bipolar. I have ADHD, sensory processing disorder, and a panic disorder, as well as some OCD tendencies, and I very likely fall somewhere on the spectrum. After my diagnosis and getting on the right meds, I became aware of so much. I began to unmask, as I felt I was safe to do so. About the same time, my husband became very overwhelmed with bills, began lying, taking out loans I never knew about just to cover the bills. And I'm sure he felt like I was abandoning him as I changed so much in a short time. And I didn't feel supported as I unmasked and met myself for the first time in my life.
That's proof that 2 people can be going through very real shit and not be going through it together. Because his world's falling apart and he's taking out loans trying to fucking make ends meet. And like his world is falling apart as the provider. And she's going through what she's going through and feeling like he's not supporting her when he's barely able to stand up. Like,
right.
Yeah. You guys are supposed to lean on each other in your times of weakness, not start keeping score. Well, you weren't there for me when you weren't there for me when I was either. You know what I mean? Like, babe, I need you right now. Like, I'm falling the fuck apart. I understand that you're finding yourself right now, but like, we're about to lose everything. You know what I mean? Like, and she could have hit him with, I get that you're under so much stress right now and the finances are fucked up. How can I help? I'm realizing these things about me and like having those conversations. You guys could have had a check-in. Yeah. Laid it all on the line and fucking tried to come to a resolution.
Mm-hmm. I am a stay-at-home mom. That's so much for me to process. I was going to keep reading, but I can't keep reading. That's a lot. Because she's having this breakthrough moment in her life and she is finally discovering herself, and I bet she's feeling amazing, and she's coming to all these realizations, and she's like finally finding the sunlight as a flower. And her husband is deep in the darkness, trying to keep the family afloat. She's a stay-at-home mom, so finances is purely on his shoulders, and he's taken out loans to try to cover bills, and he feels unsupported. What word did she use?
Unsupported. Taking out loans when you're in that point is not a good idea either. But
she said, and I'm sure he felt like I was abandoning him. So, I mean, if you're over there, you know, going through what you're going through and you're exuding this happiness and not showing any empathy towards him and, you know, he's taking out loans and he's lying, there's a reason that he doesn't feel he can come to you and talk about these things.
Right. But if he felt abandoned when doing all of that, it shows there's no teamwork there.
Right.
Because if he fails, you're all fucked. Yeah. It's not just him that's fucked. Like, the whole house is screwed. 4 kids, stay-at-home wife, tons of debt.
6 mouths to feed.
Yeah. Yep, there's a lot there.
New patron. Not saying that she can't be excited about these things or that she shouldn't be happy about coming into her own. Definitely be hyped about that.
Yeah.
There is a excitement that comes with coming out of the misery you've lived your whole life and realizing that there has been a veil. It's more than just, you're not just living your own life anymore.
Right.
I'm sure he would have been a little bit more enthusiastic about things if he felt that there was a little bit more empathy towards the stresses in his life going on. There's such a breakdown there. I hope she gets into it.
She also said she felt unsupported in that time.
Right, and she didn't feel supported, which I could also understand if he's lost in his own world and nonstop panicking and is distant. I could see how she feels that way.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't leaning on each other the way they should have been.
They really weren't. I'm a stay-at-home mom who has always had side hustles that brought in a little extra money. I am an artist first and foremost, and that isn't always consistent, especially as I was going through burnout and shutdowns, and I began to shift through my entire life, finally being able to admit to myself that my childhood traumatized me, something awful. So I'm discovering all of this about myself, learning to love myself for the first time instead of the self-hate that had formed my entire mindset. A good friend really helped me in this process. One day, she asked me a question I thought was silly at the time. She asked me, who did this to you? Who is the voice that is in your head? Who made you think that way about yourself? At first, I told her it was my voice. Then it all hit me. That voice belongs to my father. Then from that point forward, I was able to unmask and love the me that was underneath. I love it when people have breakthroughs like that. During this time, to me, it seemed like my husband was becoming unreasonable. It was like he was becoming so distant that I couldn't connect with him. Long story short, this progressed until he was having full auditory and visual hallucinations and so very paranoid about everything. He doesn't have a proper diagnosis yet, but they are really quick to throw meds at him for the most part, have at least helped with the hallucinations and some of the paranoia. So you say that he was having hallucinations, both visual and auditory, and was becoming very paranoid, and they put him on meds. Doesn't that kind of thing happen due to a lack of sleep?
It can.
Like if someone goes, for example, 3 or 4 days running on 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, it can.
The brain starts to get wonky.
Yeah, you also start taking micro naps. The brain can't stay up like that. You'll fall asleep for 5-10 seconds at a time. I mean, that could also be schizophrenia, though. There could be a whole lot of things happening there. Right. It could be just that he's having a mental breakdown because of the amount of stress that he's under and not getting help. Right. And if he's going through it alone, which he clearly is, it could make things worse.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, like, it's her fault. That's not what I'm saying, but, like, he's holding all of that shit in and dealing with it. And, like, she's going through what she's going through. I'm sure he's trying not to add to her fucking plate, like...
Or he's seeing that she's finally happy.
And there's a disconnect. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's a fucking mess. And I got to be honest, when it comes to whatever he's going through, I know that part of the email is relevant to her story, but, like, I don't feel comfortable really with any of that.
He is now getting into behavioral health program and is in the very beginning stages of that. I don't think the meds are a good fit, and he has become so mean and never was before. We have both become very angry with one another and grew so distant. Both of us crave that bond that we used to have, but looking back, oh boy, have we been so toxic for each other and both to blame. I'm learning my triggers, and soon he will be as well. It has come to a point, though, where everything is a fight. We have zero clue how to communicate. Even though we often get on the same wavelength, our oldest daughter swears he and I have entire conversations without speaking a word.
Yeah, that's 80% of communication is nonverbal, so of course you do.
Right.
And when you're with somebody for a long time, you pick up on those cues. You know what's going on. Mm-hmm. I can tell when something's going on with you by the way that you stand.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. That is normal behavior. A look, a tone, posture, the way your feet are facing in a conversation, like all of that shit are tells.
You know, I get it. The way you're standing, I can usually tell too.
Yeah.
So without speaking a word, we are so codependent on one another. That's unhealthy.
Is codependency really unhealthy? Shouldn't you be leaning on each other when you're doing things?
I would say leaning on one another and being a team is different from being codependent.
All right, now I have to Google it. I need a Google definition so that we're on the same page.
Okay.
What am I Googling? Codependency. Codependency in a relationship is when each person involved is mentally, emotionally, physically, and or spiritually reliant on the other. Reliant is the word there. Mm-hmm. A codependent relationship can exist between romantic partners, but also with family members and friends, and tends to lead to dysfunctional relationship patterns. And reliant on each other. So, I mean, this really does come down to relying on your partner. Codependency, if you are relying on your partner, I don't see why that's a bad thing. You should be relying on your partner.
Nah, when I think of dependency like that, I think of an infant. An infant can't survive without depending on somebody else to take care of them.
Right.
So when I think of a codependency in a relationship, I think of a very unhealthy, like you cannot function. You don't know how to self-regulate. You don't know how to control your emotions. You're probably somebody who easily lashes out, probably high anxiety. I think being a teammate in a relationship like what we have is not a codependency.
I actually think by definition it is.
I don't think so.
I rely on you to make the meals and go grocery shopping and cook and clean.
Right.
And you rely on me to take care of all the business and the money and the retirement and the editing and everything that we've got going on.
Right.
We rely on each other by definition.
If I weren't here, though, you're not going to have a complete mental breakdown about life.
No, I'm just not going to eat or do laundry until you get home. I'm a DoorDash.
Yeah. I guess I have a very extreme
I know what you mean.
definition of codependency.
You probably do. You probably have it by the definition of the way that it is. But when I read that,
Right.
it says to the point that there is a dysfunction happening in the relationship that I can get. Don't spill it on yourself this time.
Oh, I didn't spill it. It leaked out of my mouth.
No, I understand what it means to be codependent.
Yeah.
I just don't. I understand that anything to an extreme can be bad.
Yeah.
Too many vitamins can kill you.
Right.
So being too dependent on somebody could definitely become problematic. Being codependent in a marriage is the whole point of fucking being married. You don't have to go this alone anymore. I have a partner now. We're going to struggle together and we're going to suffer together. And when I'm too weak to do something, she's going to pick me up and I'm going to do the same. We are literally going to depend on each other to get through this shit show that is life to make it out the other side. Like,
I'm recognizing that I have negative emotions attached to codependent. That word.
yeah.
Yeah. And that emotion blinded me to the logical fact that you're right. If I'm not codependent on you, I'm independent in our relationship, and that's not true.
Right.
Ugh. I hate it when I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that people put negative connotations on words because they just hear the way that it's used and just accept it. You can piece together a conversation even if you don't understand all the words that are used based off the tone, the other words based around it, how the sentence is structured. Like you can figure that out. Like that reads as codependency is a bad thing.
Right.
But when I hear that word, I don't think it's a bad thing. So I had to Google it, and the way that it reads by definition, it doesn't seem like a bad thing other than the fact that it can become problematic.
Right.
And that's to an extreme because it doesn't say it is problematic. It says it can become problematic.
Right. So I agree that people can create a negative attachment towards due to society. Mine is just from personal experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it codependency that you had a problem with, or were you being used?
The word itself.
No, but I'm asking you, like for that scenario, for that word to have the meaning that it has to you, why does it have that meaning?
Oh, it's manipulation.
Right. So the root of that is not the
Right.
codependency; it's the manipulation, or how or whatever was going on.
It
in
was
that
the
scenario.
manipulation tied to the word codependent.
I hate these chairs. It's so uncomfortable.
You know, I think this is why my back is hurting me so much.
Maybe
sitting in these chairs.
There's nothing on the back. I'm gonna order those other chairs when we're done.
My back is hurting so bad. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to like go and get it checked out. I can't stand for longer than 5 to 10 minutes without being in excruciating pain from my back.
Yeah. You want me to get a hold of Jess?
I don't know if it's a muscular thing. I'm thinking it's a muscular thing because I push on it. Yeah, get a hold of Jess. That'd be dope. I don't know if it's a muscular thing. I push on it. Yeah, get a hold of Jess. Literally just talked myself through it. Sometimes if I just finished my thought in my mind, I would look a lot smarter. I totally forgot that we're in the middle of an email. All right, so I'm learning my triggers and soon he will be as well. It has come to a point though where everything is a fight and we have zero clue how to communicate. The word divorce has been thrown around, and in all honesty, I've kind of been living with one foot out the door as a way of protecting myself from the exact painful situation we find ourselves in now.
Okay, let's pause for a minute. How is that serving you, living with one foot out the door? How much, real shit, how much of your problem that you're having right now could be solved if you simply fucking committed to staying and talking to your husband?
Right. With living with the mindset one foot out the door, you are committing more energy into planning to leave than you are putting into saving.
I don't have a plan B because it distracts from plan A.
Yep. I feel like I said divorce weird. I don't say the word. So I'm recognizing that I probably fucked up saying that.
No, it came out right.
I don't even think it.
It's not an option. I'd rather go through hell with you and come out the other side than fucking quit.
Neither of us actually want that. So if neither of you actually want that, why are you living like that?
Yep.
I don't want to divorce you, but I'm living with one foot out the door. That is so counterproductive.
Mm-hmm. Because you're only giving half of an effort.
Right.
Tell me, real shit, how often have you truly succeeded when you only gave half of 50%? 50% is, I kind of tried.
That's living paycheck to paycheck.
I mean, I gave it a little bit.
I'm going full extent with everything. I love the life we have together.
Yeah, why is that?
Just reading these emails and hearing just how people live their life is just, it makes me sad. And I'm glad that we don't have that.
Okay. It was delayed. That's what that email said.
I appreciate the hard work that you put into the marriage.
Yeah.
I feel like we're matching each other's energy.
That's the point. That's the codependency.
And I appreciate it. I just want you to know that.
That's also the 50%.
Mm-hmm.
On days that I don't have it to give 100%, you make up the difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's codependency.
Yeah.
Like, by definition, we are depending on each other for survival.
Crazy.
And I'm glad that you appreciate the work that I do. I wasn't listening. I wasn't ignoring what you were saying. I was listening.
All right. So neither of us actually want that, meaning divorce. And we would like to start over and date one another. We never dated when we met. We just got pregnant and started a family. I would go as far to say as...
Do that. Do the dating. But it's not going to have the effect she thinks it is.
Okay. I want to dig deeper into that. Never mind, my thought's gone. Dig deeper into that.
Why? Well, what was your thought?
It's gone.
How long have they been married? 15 years?
She
13
said...
years?
Ready to help with my marriage? 15 years.
Okay. That's it.
Yes.
So she's been with this person for 15 years.
Right.
What other than reclaiming intimacy is going to happen if you start dating? Are you going to learn more about this person? Are you going to start having conversations that you haven't had over the last 15 years?
Are you going to change the attitudes that you both have?
Right. Because I got to be honest, the only thing that's going to happen in that scenario is that you might reclaim the intimacy in your relationship. So I'm saying do that. Absolutely fucking do that. If you've been married for more than 6 years, there's already a dip in that intimacy. You get used to having your partner around you. It's that lust and that engagement is gone. Dating brings that back. Taking time away from the job, the house, the kids, the in-laws, all the fucking stress that you have. Going out for sushi and spending 2 hours with no cell phones.
I feel so recharged after those times.
I feel recharged after 2 hours in the car.
It's really, and it's 2 hours. You know, it really doesn't take much with the person that you love to make you just feel a little bit better.
If you can talk to them.
Right.
So in this scenario, yes, you should be fucking dating your person still.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're having issues or you're a part of the email or not. You should still be dating your fucking person.
Yeah.
That's all there is to that. You're going to reclaim your intimacy and you're going to get a closeness back. That's good. Hold hands. Sit on the same side of the fucking booth. Like, do the thing.
Yeah.
But if you think that you're going to get to know them again by dating, that's not going to happen. That's not what's going to happen in that scenario. You already know that person. You know them inside out, inside and out. And if you get divorced and you meet somebody new and you have this new, exciting, lustful experience, you got to learn somebody new all over again. And then you don't know if you're going to be compatible. You don't know how it's going to work. You don't know if there's going to be financial stability there. Like, you are going into the darkness with a very small flashlight, hoping for the fucking best.
In today's society.
Right. And how many emails do we get that people are like, the dating game fucking sucks right now. I'm miserable, blah, 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 blah. Dedicated 15 years to this. Start dating again, but do it with both feet in the fucking door.
Yeah.
Make the commitment to save your fucking marriage. Have the conversation with him to make sure that he wants the same thing and start working through your shit. You need those dates. You got 4 fucking kids.
It's the same amount of energy either way.
It's more. It's more energy to start over.
You're right. It really is, yeah.
You're building a new foundation. You're having to worry about people's bad habits. You have to worry about how honest they are.
Can I trust them?
What their intentions are going to be. If they're going to be able to be okay with the kids. What their salary is. Like, are you going to be able to provide the life that I'm used to living? Are you going to be a hindrance? Like, so much fucking harder to start over than it is to. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't start over. If that's really what you fucking feel you need to do that. Especially if you're not safe. But just know that if you have the ability to make your marriage work,
why wouldn't you?
Right.
I can't remember which book breakdown it was. Without dating in a marriage, there's a lack of empathy there because there's a lack of that intimacy, a lack of emotional involvement. Even if you guys, like, I believe she did use the word like we are hating each other right now. I can't find it and I don't want to put words in her mouth, but she said that they were very toxic for each other. There's a lot of animosity. Still date, like you said. That dating is going to bring back that emotional tie, which is going to increase that empathy for one another. Without feeling, there's no empathy.
Right.
that empathy could help solve some of the things you guys are going through, just because you don't have, when you hear of a stranger situation like, oh, he cheated on her 20 times and she's still with him, I have no empathy for her. If that was your sister though, and you see the heartbreak every single time and you see that she really loves that man, you'd be a little bit more empathetic towards her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta be honest, dating is not enough, but it's where you start.
Right.
Because you can go to dinner and fucking hate being there. And if that's the case, if you guys are sitting across the table from each other and you're not talking, and you can tell that neither one of you really want to be there, that says a lot. Especially if you're going out trying to rekindle that flame. And if you're just going out to go out, that's a very different conversation than let's go on a date.
Right.
Because there's a very different, okay, babe, I'm hungry. What do you want? I don't know. Let's go get sushi. Okay, let's go get sushi. That's dinner. We're going to eat. We have to eat or we will fucking die. Like,
right.
Sustenance is needed. Babe, I want a date night. What would you like to do? I don't know. Well, let's go to the high-end sushi place in Lakewood Ranch. We'll get dressed up. We'll have a 45-minute car ride up. We'll be there for an hour and a half, walk around the art district for a little bit, spend an hour on the ride home. That's a date. Mm-hmm. That is an intentional, we're getting dressed, we're going to have conversation, we're going to fuck around a little bit. Like, we're going to experience something, not just eat food. It's a very different intent behind it. I am gonna add into that.
Okay.
I'm gonna add into that because you're pausing and
yeah, I can't find where I was in the email.
Okay, so on that same thing, if you live in a small town and you have 3 places that you eat at regularly, and you know that there are places outside of your town, you can even make a stipulation for those dates that are, we're gonna go out of town, and if we are going out of town to eat at another restaurant that is more than 30 minutes from the house, we are doing it with the intent of the date. And prime example of that, Lakewood Ranch has Ohana Sushi. It's 45 minutes from our house. So if I'm like, if I ever go, let's go to Ohana Sushi, that's a fucking date.
Ooh, you're taking me out.
Right.
Okay.
And it needs to be presented that way. Like, you can just say it like I just said to her, and that's from now on, know that if we go to Ohana, it's a date. I'm not fucking driving 45 minutes for sushi. I'm driving 45 minutes to spend time with you with the bonus of sushi, good sushi.
You know, I think I prefer that. That needs to be a conversation for people. I think I would prefer hearing we're going to go out to Ohana Sushi versus let's go on a date. Where do you want to go? That's a very like masculine. Okay, daddy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That is an entire conversation, babe. That's a side piece. That's a Ruminations. That needs to be the next Ruminations.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that says masculinity there. Because when you first start dating, men are very clear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you. We're gonna go to Red Lobster. I fucking hate Red Lobster. It's the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know why it did.
Why do you hate Red Lobster?
I don't eat bottom feeders.
Oh, gotcha.
So I don't do crab, lobster, or catfish.
Yeah. Get it.
Why did that even come to my mind? I haven't had Red Lobster in probably 30 years. I'm not a big seafood person either. That was really weird. Really weird example. But if that's where you're going.
Right.
But that scenario is not where do you want to go to eat? Normally, you're suggesting places.
Right.
That is a lead. Let me show you I'm capable of providing, because that's how we provide in the disposable world we live in. It's not, I'm going to go kill a pig and come back and cook it up, unless you're a Death Clan, because that's what he does.
That's pretty dope.
It is pretty dope, but
good for you.
yeah. Some of the shit that he says in the men's group is wild to me. Anyways, that is the current time state of provision.
Yeah.
And that's normally the first couple of dates is going out to eat, because you're not bringing people in. But that is a masculine thing to do. And over time, as women become more masculine in the relationship, men become more feminine, you guys get more towards that center and become that same person. There is that conversation of, what do you want? I don't know. What do you want? What do you want? I don't know. What do you want?
Yeah.
Because you're not willing to admit that, like, you want different things. And like, if one person has a craving, you're willing to submit to that and allow it to happen. Or you'll end up like us, where you're like, I want Indian, and I'm like, I'm not eating that shit. Get what you want, babe. I'm gonna get chicken, like, or you know what I mean. And that is very much a thing for us. But if I was like, because I can eat a cheeseburger with French fries 3 times a day for the rest of my life and never get sick of it, you couldn't do that. You would get real fucking sick of eating the same place over and over and over again. I could eat Jersey Mike subs every day for lunch and not get sick of it. The same sub made the same way every single day and like it.
That I could not do. I could do five guys every day for lunch. Yeah. I really like their bacon burgers.
But there are things that like I couldn't do that. I couldn't do Five Guys every day. It's too greasy. And that's a good cheeseburger. I like their cheeseburgers, but I couldn't eat their cheeseburger every day. So like that shit matters. So like people try to cater to one another, and that masculine leading is gone. We should actually do a side piece about that, because we can have conversations about actual dating in that aspect too. Why are you always looking at me like that, woman? I am not a piece of meat. Get your mind out of the gutter.
I like it when you tell me what to do.
Is that where you were going with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like it when I'm just like, we're going to get this?
I do.
Get dressed.
Yeah.
I would imagine that's a lot like when you tell me we're having enchiladas for dinner or we're doing biscuits and gravy, because I don't like it when you ask me what we're having for dinner.
Yeah.
Like when you're like, what do you want me to cook you? I don't.
Okay.
I don't want to think about this. Like,
Yeah.
just I will fucking eat liver and onions if that's what you put in front of me. I don't care. I won't enjoy it.
Right, but I cooked it. You're gonna.
But I'll eat it. But that comes down to decision fatigue. I have
Right.
so many fucking decisions I have to make that when we're home, I don't want to think about house shit. But date nights is very easy. Like I have all kinds of other places that I enjoy eating at. They're just not here. But
Also noted, I'm not going to ask you what you want for dinner anymore.
okay, that's good, because I'll eat whatever you make. I'll eat fucking dino nuggies and
Yeah.
French fries. I don't give a shit.
Well, I apologize. I didn't recognize that was adding to your.
That's not an apology
Decision.
thing. You're trying to make me happy. Why would you
Right.
apologize for that?
Well, decision fatigue. That's another thing I was subconsciously adding to your plate.
Yeah, it is what it is. You're trying to do right by your husband and making sure that I eat the things that I enjoy eating. But I mean, this falls into, we know each other. Like,
Right.
We have Brewburger. I really enjoy their burgers most of the time, but there are those times that like food's not right, and you're one of those people that won't do red meat in your burger. Like,
No, if it's bleeding, I have
right.
an issue with
You do
it.
a little pink.
Yeah.
Little pink is okay, but like if it's runny, you won't eat it.
No, I can't.
And I will eat it if it's medium rare or even rare sometimes. So like I've had bad burgers from them, but it's normally not because of the way they cook it. Like it's the toppings aren't right or something like that. But they have that Matty B, which is a double cheeseburger between 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, and it feeds my inner fat kid like you wouldn't believe.
I want to try that next time. we
Yeah.
go.
You didn't want to go last time. You're like, they fucked my food up. I don't want to go back there again. So like I haven't suggested it because
I'll just get my thing well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just have to suck it up
do
and
do
eat.
medium well, because then
That's
it'll
what I
have
asked.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I always thought you just did medium.
No, I say medium well.
Well, then ask for medium well, and when it gets to the table, cut it in half.
Okay.
Then you'll see what the meat is. Anyways, back to the email, because we just side railed.
We really did. Okay.
We have an hour and a half until we have to go live.
Oh, we need to figure out food.
Let's finish the email and we'll call
Okay.
it, because this has been a longer one. Or we'll pause it
And then come back.
tomorrow, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. All right. So we never dated. We just got pregnant and started a family. So things like expectations were never discussed,
That's a problem.
and we never built a foundation.
How have you been together for 15 years and you don't have a foundation and you don't have boundaries set?
I imagine
15 years.
it's just been chaos.
It would have to be for that
Right.
long of a life. That's more than a decade and a half. Their relationship has its restricted driver's license at this point. How have you not figured out your foundation and your boundaries after that long of a time? Like, I don't understand how that's even possible. At some point, you had to be like, look, I don't like it when you do that. Okay, I won't do that anymore. That's setting a boundary. It may not be as clear and defined as the way we did our conversations, but you are still going to be learning those things through the moments as you're developing life.
They never fell in love. They never loved each other.
You'd still have boundaries.
Right, but when you think about it, they were together for a month, got pregnant, and you started a family. So that first month, things were probably dope. She got pregnant, got hormonal, started arguing. When there's not that in love feeling, yeah, you can come to me with a boundary, but why would I care about what you want me to do when you just constantly bitch and nag and yell at me?
Yeah, but the boundaries are still set. Whether they're adhered to or not, they're still set.
Yeah.
They're still set. The boundaries, there's no way that you've been 15 years and not had expectations laid out. Don't yell at me. I don't like that. Don't smack my ass. Don't move the fucking mirror when you get in the car. Like, those are all boundaries.
Right, but what if it was never verbalized that way? What if it was, I hate it when you do that?
External data is external data.
Okay.
If you told me you hated something that I did, I'd stop fucking doing it. Or I would try my hardest to stop doing it, especially if it was a habitual thing. Because I'm not trying to like make you unhappy. That is setting a boundary.
Then what if the other person retaliates, so you hate everything I do? I can't even do my art anymore.
Well, I mean, that's a manipulation tactic. That's a whole other problem. Like, I see that as a manipulation tactic.
Okay.
That's an ease out of an argument. You always do that. You won't let me have fun. You won't let me blah, blah, blah. That's a guilt trip. You won't let me do my art anymore. It's a guilt trip unless it's really happening.
Right.
And if that's the case, you allowed that boundary to get crossed.
It's really insane. I don't understand how people don't have boundaries because that's pure chaos. Any scenario that you take that, say it is a valid thing, like anytime the person tries to do art, you never spend any time with me.
Right.
You're always painting. You're always drawing. Yeah, then I would equate you hate it when I really do anything for myself.
Right. But
Just
wouldn't the better answer there to be, well, come do it with me.
Right.
I can't draw. Well, come hang out with me while I paint.
Yeah. There's not that.
Put your phone down. I'm not drawing. I'm not on my phone. I'm painting. I can have a conversation while I do this. Come talk to me. You're always in the garage doing woodwork. So come hang out with me.
Right.
I enjoy being around you and I enjoy doing this. And you know what I mean? Like in her case, she was an artist, right? Made a side hustle as an artist.
Yeah. That's his email.
Yeah, it's his email.
We've been doing this for a while.
I'm a photographer. Mm-hmm. You picked up photography so that we had something to do together.
Yeah.
But even if you didn't, and I was like, I want to go take pictures, you'd be like, okay, I want to go.
Right.
That's 2 hours in a car, 2 hours, 3 hours of photography. Mm-hmm. You should show interest in your person's hobbies. They should do it to you, even if they don't understand it. Like, you can find time to connect to your person that way.
Right. You know, I saw a TikTok of a married couple. Husband was cooking. The wife brought a chair into the kitchen and just sat there and talked with him. And he was cooking for like 2.5 hours. She could have been in the living room watching TV. She could have been running errands. She could have been napping. Instead, she chose to sit in the kitchen without her phone and just watch her man cook and have a conversation.
Yeah, that's intimate.
People aren't willing to do that anymore.
That's because people don't have a connection anymore. Because social media tells us that our friends are a clique. Oh, look, they're on vacation, like that. Not, hey, how was your vacation? Did you guys have fun?
Right.
Did the kid enjoy themselves? Did you get sunburned? Tell me about your vacation.
Right. How was the experience?
Right. There's no connection anymore.
You know, I think about my kid's grandmother from their dad's side. She was in the military, so she was in like Germany and she went to Okinawa. I love hearing stories about people's lives like that.
Right. Because they lived it.
Right. Like, I see a person who went through experiences, and in this moment in time, I get to hear about it. I feel like it's a treasure. Like, somebody is giving me their little orb of memory, and now, outside of them, somebody else is living with that memory. I don't know. It's just just a bonding experience for me.
There's a connection there.
Right.
Right. That's really what it comes down to. And this comes down to relationship. Mm-hmm. Like, if somebody was real fuckface to you and tried to tell you about their life story, you don't give a shit because they're being a fuckface. If they're being a sweet old lady and trying to tell you a story, even if you don't want to hear it, you're going to listen because they're being a sweet old lady. Mm. If it's your person and they want to experience something with you and you actually love them, you'll try it at least once.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to get me to jump out of a plane, I'm not doing that. But I'll watch you jump out of a plane. I'll go with you and take pictures from the ground or some shit. Like, I'll experience it with you from a distance. I'm not swimming with sharks either.
I get it. Would you ride an elephant? No, you wouldn't.
No, but I would pet an elephant.
I would love to pet an elephant.
I won't ride an animal.
No.
Nope, I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna use these Chevrolet legs and they're gonna get me where I need to go.
Yeah.
I think it's cruel. I'm a big motherfucker. And I don't care how strong they are. I'm not trying to carry around a child on my back all day.
Yeah.
I don't want horse be like, get off me, you fat fuck. Like, I'm good on that. So I don't do the animal riding thing.
Right, that's why I stopped. I want to have an interactive elephant experience for 100,000 followers.
Good luck with that one. Finding an elephant in Florida that you can fuck with,
Can't we pay the Naples Zoo or something?
We don't have that kind of money. We don't have real fuck you money, not yet.
Well, the aquariums have like, come on a little boat ride in the aquarium and look at sharks. Feed the penguins. I'm going to look into it.
Okay.
I will come back to you with data.
Okay.
not hypotheticals. You know, every time I hear just social media, I think of that scene from Wreck-It Ralph 2, where they get to the internet and they're walking around. It's like a massive moss city thing. And there's like towers and there's like Facebook and Instagram. Back to the email. This man is 100% worth the effort, but I don't even know where to begin. I don't know how we can put the biases we have against each other away, how to be vulnerable with one another, and not let our mental illnesses play against each other. Probably topics for therapy. LOL.
Or decision making. I don't know where to start. I know where you should start. Mm-hmm. Put both feet back in the fucking door and commit.
Yes.
That's where you start. You start with a commitment.
That's the first step. And it needs to be a conversation.
Right.
It needs to be a sit down of, look, I know that we have really been going through it. I want you to know that I have been living with one foot out the door, and today I have made a decision to put both feet back in, and I am committed to our marriage.
Right. Absolutely. We haven't been in the same chapter for a very long time, but I'm telling you that I want to make this fucking work. What do we have to do?
And I would tell him, you are worth the effort.
Yeah.
Tell him that. That is the first step. I agree. How do we start over with dating, expectations, and communication?
Ooh, there's another one. Okay. Why would you want to go backwards?
I wouldn't want to start over.
Right? Why would you want to go backwards instead of forwards?
Right.
That's what I hear by I want to start over. I wish things could just go back to the way they were. Things will never be the way they were. Ever. Nothing that you do is going to ever put the pieces back exactly the same way. You have evolved. They have evolved. The situation has evolved. Why not work on being better than what you were before? Mm-hmm. Fail forward.
We're going to renovate this house.
Yeah.
We're not going to demolish it. We're renovating it. We're upgrading things. We're adding new fixtures. We're not moving out and looking at an upgrade. We're fixing this one. Mm-hmm. I also think check-ins will be really important. It breaks my heart that we have come to this place. I'm now 33 and he is 42. Half of my life has been spent with him by my side. I used to think that he was my best friend. Now we feel like strangers who can't stand each other because of the damage we have done to one another. It's in moments like this where I really think about this woman was probably sitting alone. She might even have her own bedroom, maybe sitting on the couch by herself and him doing whatever he's doing, sending us this email. Like a last-ditch effort trying to fix this. What a very lonely, destitute, just...
Here's a thought. What's your longest lasting friend?
My longest lasting friend?
Yep, like your true best friend. You've got to have someone.
Well, she's no longer in my life. She's definitely going to be the person I tell my kids about, though.
Okay. How long were you friends with her?
I have to really think about that. I met her, I want to say, in Girl Scouts in kindergarten. And we were friends up until I was about 23. So a little under 20 years.
How many falling outs did you have?
Oh, God. Hundreds.
Right. So Sean, I've known Sean more than half my life.
Yeah.
He is my longest lasting real life friend. I love him like a brother. And if he had to hide a body, he would call me.
Yeah.
And there wouldn't be questions. What are we doing? If he was like, I need you, I'm like, I'm on my way. Like,
yeah.
What do you need? Mm-hmm. No. Where are you at? All right, I'm coming. That's the conversation we're having. But there was 3 or 4 years of our lives where we didn't fucking speak to each other. Not a word. We would see each other in public and not even head nod each other. But he's my brother. And that time frame, had he called me, regardless of how we felt about each other, I would have fucking been there for him.
Yeah.
Your relationship with your husband right now may not be good, but that doesn't mean that he's not your best friend. It means that you guys are not fucking okay with each other. Your relationship is fucked up. I did.
Yeah.
So new chairs, change of clothes.
Yes.
Pretty sure they'll be able to see your house slippers.
At least I got a pedicure.
That's true. At least your feet don't look like 7-Eleven feet. We love that.
So our whole schedule has changed, and usually Monday mornings are my like clean and self-care. And I want to say I forgot that we were doing this. I forgot to get dressed for this.
Yeah.
I sat down and I recognized, oh man, I am in just my housewear. I was like, those aren't my heels.
It works though. You look good when you're in your housewear.
Oh, thank you. I did some light makeup for houseware.
I think had you not said anything, nobody would have even noticed.
Really?
Really.
Maybe cut that.
Why?
So they don't notice.
No. So let's update, recap. Let's recap the last 4 days events. We hit 100,000 on YouTube.
We did.
Unreal. You got a new Louis bag.
I got a new Louis bag. I'm obsessed with it.
We vlogged some of that for Patreon.
Mm-hmm. I also posted the purse in
the Discord.
That chat. Yeah.
Okay. The whiskey room was supposed to be done today. Well, it's supposed to be done yesterday, and it has not even been started yet. And that's a whole slew of other problems. And I realized that with the amount of stuff that we do, you think that I would make these people include a definitive date for completion of project and then terms if it's not.
Right.
And I think moving forward, anything that I do is going to have a definitive finish date.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to hit that finish date, you're going to knock some cost off, because I'm a little frustrated by this.
I would be too. I understand it's friends,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I don't know. You're still paying for it. You're paying customer for this.
Right. We were supposed to be in Tennessee this weekend.
We were. Yeah. A lot's happening.
Yeah. I missed my sister's birthday party, and my mom is in the hospital getting ready to have a triple bypass. And I was supposed to be there for that.
Yeah.
But because this whiskey room keeps getting pushed away and pushed away and pushed away, I'm now missing important parts of my life that I could have otherwise been to based around the schedule had it just been adhered to. So,
And now we could be missing out on life after the surgery.
Yeah.
Because we don't know when it's going to be happening.
Yep. Our first ad was accepted this morning, which I think is super dope.
I'm so excited about that.
Because we had a lot of fun recording that ad.
It was a lot of fun. And I think it came out really good.
I think so too. And we got an approval back pretty quick.
We did.
So I was worried about the paleo comment in there, because when I went to the website to like poke around, I didn't see a paleo thing on there. So it must have been a different website that I was looking at that had paleo options, but they accepted the ad. So it works. Hopefully that actually went into, it'll probably hit Monday's thing. I don't know. I'm half tempted to go and play one of the podcasts on Spotify just to see if I can hear our ad.
Yeah.
It would be fun. I bought a vlogging camera. I've had a Canon G7X Mark I, the original G7X. And that has been my handheld tiny little vlogging camera for probably 6 years. It's old. In terms of technology, it's old. And I bought a Sony ZV-1 Mark II yesterday, and it came in. And that's what I was recording on when I came out there earlier. And I think that I want to start taking that camera every time we go somewhere.
Yeah.
And we can just talk about what we're doing in the car, or if we're taking pictures and you're just taking shots, I can just film you taking shots, and like we can capture those like stupid us moments that people really seem to enjoy. I asked on Patreon if those people wanted to see more of our patrons. I shouldn't call them those people. If our patrons want to see more vlogging content, and that is the most popular post that we've ever made on Patreon.
Yeah, I actually felt a little bit uncomfortable doing that vlog. I don't like my face, so I hate the whole vlog.
That's weird though, because you were just on TikTok for 2 hours, and we do this every day. Like,
right, I know. Just I don't know that vlog specifically. I don't know. Just everything. It was unnatural for me. It was neat to do.
Do you think it's just because you're not used to it?
Yeah, I think it was like starting the podcast.
I'm comfortable vlogging.
Yeah.
So I know that you're wanting to do more TikTok stuff, and I want to do more vlog stuff. So I think that might be the way that plays out. I got the proof for the t-shirts. We just ordered shop shirts and To Be Better shirts. It's the same one. Tattoos, not just for sailors and whores. One has the tattoo shop logo on it. The other has our logo on it. And they're in a charcoal gray color with white print. And on the back, the To Be Better one has a pink chest piece. The rest of the shirt is completely white print, gray, like.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
I was able to do something special there. We have to figure out the accountability t-shirt and how we want to word that. And then we need to figure out the his piece, her home shirts and try to figure out how to make those work and make them not just be a text.
Right.
You know, I got to be honest. I was thinking like doing the king and queen standalone chest pieces.
Ooh, I
and
like
do like
that.
home with the chest piece in the center of it.
Yeah.
And then I could make the E, like the bar of the E, the chest piece, and then have the lines come off of it. So you have the king chest piece and hers.
When I was thinking
Or
of
piece, I mean, I'm sorry, piece, not her. Right. But it would be on the E.
Right. That would look cool.
Yeah. Or do home with the line
Yeah.
as the chest piece and piece with the line as the chest piece, because it would both end.
Oh yeah, with the chest piece.
Yep. I think that might be the move.
That would look cool. Yeah.
And then just do the To Be Better logo on the back of them. I want to do the July drop. I want to do 3 shirts for the July drop. It'd be the Sailors and Whores, the accountability shirt, and then the His and Hers would be a dual drop, but it would be a one thing. But I also don't want to just do a limited number of those. I ordered 200, I think, or 240 or something of the tattoo one, because when I wore that, people were like, "Oh my God, I love that shirt." So like I made a bunch of them for the website.
That's one of my favorite shirts.
Yeah. That's been our shop shirt for 13 years. I really do want to start doing the vlogging thing. I actually thought about, since you're going to open that, like, go get the little camera.
You should.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to open that, it'll be on the podcast, but Patreon will get to see it first. And that's the whole point of Patreon. So.
Yeah. I love the idea of vlogging, but being the one to do the vlogs, I don't think I'm interesting enough for that. I can't just speak in silence.
So go ahead.
Like, being a part of your vlogs, I love that because our energy together just plays off of each other, and I need something to play off. I can't be the center focus. Does that make sense?
It does. I do well with the vlogging. I believe I do well with the vlogging thing because it's my therapist. When I tried to do the YouTube thing in the past, that's all I did was get in my car after my workouts, and I would just word vomit all of my bullshit onto the internet. And it helped me process a whole lot of things. But so this is the camera I got, because I know I mentioned it and I just ran up and got it. It's got a little dead cat microphone on it so that when I'm outside, you don't hear the sound. So real quick before you open that, I on the TikTok thing, it's funny that you mentioned the whole vlogging thing, because you came in from your 2-hour live and was like, you should start doing TikTok lives. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I truly believe that we have the following that we have because of you. And like, when we get on TikTok, it's peaches, 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 peaches. And I don't want to sit there and answer questions about my marriage or answer questions about you. We can do that on your TikTok, and I can jump in every once in a while and be a part of it. But I have no desire to sit down and do the TikTok thing. I truly hate the app. Like, the fact that it makes us money is dope, but like, it's toxic and it's a bunch of nonsense, and I don't want to deal with it. And if you're going to be going live on TikTok and doing that, and I'm going to be doing the vlogging thing, it's just one more thing. And if I have to start going live on TikTok as well, like, I'm good on that. If people want to actually see me live, they can jump on the YouTube lives or they can join our Patreon. Like, I don't want to do it.
I feel when I do it, it helps the YouTube.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
But people are on the YouTube. Our following is mainly because of you. I know that you don't believe that, but I promise you, it's like 85% you, 15% me.
That's hard for me to believe.
You don't have to believe it. That's statistics.
Even when I go live on TikTok, I'm answering questions. If the questions weren't there, I'd just be sitting there,
right,
talking to nature.
Right. People would watch that. I have other things that I want to talk about, but I'm going to save it for the vlog.
Okay.
So if people want to actually hear my shit, you guys can join Patreon. It's posted to the Patreon content. You gonna open that now?
I am.
All right, so let's pop this bitch open.
You know what? I think I am gonna open this now, and I'm gonna let you guys know what it is.
Hold on.
I have decided to order myself a really nice cookbook, and I'm really excited about it. It's wooden with a leather binding, and it's really wrapped in saran wrap.
You need a knife?
Elastic cord. Oh, there's an elastic cord here, so not cut it.
Okay.
I think I may need a knife, yeah. Oh, maybe not. Maybe. And I have apps on my phone. I have apps and cookbooks, and they're all over the place. And I want a centralized location of apps, of recipes that the family enjoys eating that I don't have to remember where it's at. And this is also going to involve me getting smaller versions for the kids to compile as they grow into late teens, to take with them when they move out. So when they move out, they have a cookbook. And they're not going to have to worry about, oh, how did mom make that? I miss mom making that.
Right.
I think I'm also going to include a low budget section in that cookbook. That way when they're like broke, they know how to fancy up ramen. Which is something I got really good at doing.
You guys want to see what our podcast room looks like when we're recording while she's opening the bubble wrap? That's the desk that she records at. Got camera inception happening right now. That's my desk over there. Multiple cameras. There's the shelf that I eventually wanted to put camera gear on. And that's our lantern.
I think that
box.
we've accumulated enough to make that a camera shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought a macro lens. I talked about that in the vlog a little bit too. That should be here today.
This cookbook was $200, guys.
Holy shit.
Just so you were, I got it on Etsy. It's from Joshua House Crafts. They didn't pay me to plug them, just plugging them so you know where
Well,
I
if
got
you
it
buy
from.
other cookbooks, they should be.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're going to get another one, be like, hey, by the way,
I love how this is packaged.
give us that To Be Better discount code.
I might reach out to them and be like, hey, guys.
I would if you're going to be buying 2 more cookbooks.
You're right. Yeah. I love how this is packaged. Came very nicely wrapped. It has brown papering around it. And this is nice. It looks so good. Did you ever think you'd have a recipe book with your last name on it?
Nope.
How does that make you feel as the man of the house?
It makes me feel pretty good. I have a lot of weight behind my last name.
Yeah.
But I've never had anybody take that to the same level you have.
It means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for you guys to see it on YouTube, I hope it focuses. This thing is massive.
Yeah.
I wanted a big cookbook. I want this to be like when we're old and there's grandkids running a house, they'd be like, Grandma, show us your cookbook. And like the kids talk about my cookbook. It means a lot to me to be able to provide meals for the family that everyone genuinely enjoys. And I want it to be like comfort food that you guys look back on that is healthy, not detrimental. Definitely making things low carb keto at times. So the first 2 pages are blank. I love this. So I'll be able to do the title, prep time, cook time, ingredients, directions. And that's the whole book. And it came with little things labeled so I can put it on the pages so I know where everything's at. I'm pretty stoked about this. I'm excited to sit down and be able to fill it in with the recipes over the years.
Yeah.
Thank you for funding this. I'm very happy with how this came out. Very excited about this. Now I need to get like a little thing to put it up in the kitchen. I don't want it just sitting anywhere. This is nice. They handmade it. Like, I love it. For those of you wondering what the tabs say, it says miscellaneous, cakes, breads, sides, soups, main dishes, breakfast, appetizers, salads, pastas, desserts, and cookies.
I just realized that I had that camera set to 60 frames per second.
Oh, is it all slow motion?
No, it'll be normal motion, but it'll be very jittery and janky while watching. So I had to change the settings. So even though I'd planned on using some of that footage in that for the actual podcast, because you'll be able to see it easier because I was able to zoom versus it being on that. But it's definitely going to not line up. So if that gave anybody motion sickness, I apologize.
I'm so happy with that cookbook. All right. Anything else you want to update?
Yeah, but I'm going to leave it for my vlog. I'm not going to give it all to the podcast.
Right. Oh, also, I've decided, so I'm going to start doing sub-only lives on TikTok. So anybody could watch it, but only people who are subscribed to my TikTok can ask me questions and comment things.
Is that going to be on top of the normal TikToking that you're doing?
No, that's going to like substitute it.
Okay.
So say if I go live on TikTok 3 times a week, one of those times would be a sub-only.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I'm just trying to make sure that you're not adding extra shit into our lives. We're trying to downsize so that we have time to do shit. So
right. So like if the new schedule is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
right,
or like if we're going live Sunday nights, I'll go live an hour before we go live on Sunday.
Okay, that works. We actually need to start doing live streams for the YouTube members as well.
Yeah,
a members only live, or at least give them the first like half hour of the chat of something as just members.
Okay, is that something we could change while we're live?
I believe so. I have to do the research on that, but I believe so.
Okay.
All right, let's get into some emails. I think we had like an hour or so into the first one, so let's bang out an hour of content.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm
I was about
hungry.
to say, you sound exhausted.
I am. It's been nonstop since I got out of bed this morning, and I have mental fatigue.
Yeah, you look. I'm pulling up DoorDash. You said you're hungry.
That can wait.
Okay.
Yeah, I have mental fatigue because of dealing with the bank this morning. That's never fun for me. Anytime I have to deal with money on that kind of scale, like it exhausts me. It's fucking tiring. and it's negotiations and shit like that. And then, I've been looking at trucks really, really hard. Anyways, that's not for the podcast. That's for the Patreon.
A lot going on in your brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have to figure out what I'm doing on my training schedule. I'm not looking forward to having that conversation with Sean because I know it's going to upset him.
Yeah.
So I got to be honest. I think that I'm half tempted to just be like, hey, bro, I can't train with you anymore because my schedule's so fucked up that I need to be able to get it in when I can, and trying to work my life around our gym sessions isn't working for me anymore.
Right.
Because if I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, which, I mean, it does happen.
It does.
I could go out there and get my workout done and come in, shower, and get my fucking day going. And then I have a whole extra 4 hours of shit to do before life starts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's starting to, some things are starting to become more of a priority to me than, anyways.
No, I get it. I need to start, once my back is back in, like commission, even the day the kids are here, if I'm up at like 4:30 or 5, I'm probably going to go out to the gym and do something.
Yep.
A new way of thinking. Hello, I have recently gotten into a new relationship after my divorce from my ex-husband. He was a good person at heart, but not a good partner in the end. We were high school sweethearts and were together 10 years, married for almost 3. Okay, the entire relationship I had to wear the pants or be the more dominant one. He was very emotionally in tune, however, he wasn't providing in other aspects, and essentially everything was always on me. I couldn't count on him to do things because anytime he was in charge of a task, it always went south. I needed a man, and he could never do that for me. It is on me for thinking he could change, or that I could change him, and for allowing it to go on and let the same mistakes or issues happen over and over again.
Okay, so all kinds of accountability,
That's
self-reflection. There's a lot of good information there.
A lot of accountability. He had his downfalls, and so do I. He also had a mother that did everything for him, and they were extremely codependent of one another. Mm-hmm. I was always number 2. We don't have children.
You were number 2 to his mom?
Yeah.
That's pathetic.
Hardcore mommy boys like that make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it bothers me too.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet he grew up in a single parent home.
In my new relationship, I'm with a man that truly has positive masculinity, something I am not accustomed to.
There's no such thing as positive masculinity. It's just masculinity. Positive, toxic, those are labels.
Yeah.
You're either masculine or you're not. Masculinity in itself is a trait.
You're either a shitty person or you're not.
Right. But calling it positive masculinity or toxic masculinity, you are adding a connotation to the word masculinity that otherwise does not exist.
Right.
You guys are trying to make shit up. You either have masculinity, which is protect, provide, lead, do, defend, or you don't. Chivalry, manners, good old boy Southern raising, or you don't. So
I would say it boils down to having good morals or you don't.
Right. So your previous marriage, you were with a beta male, someone who was not a dependable human being and lacked a whole lot of actual masculinity. And now you have somebody that has masculinity and you're calling it positive masculinity, but what you're actually realizing is you have a fucking man.
Yeah.
Not a child, not a boy, not a male individual. You have a fucking man. There is a difference.
There is. I agree with everything you just said. I am used to having to be in control, and now I am trying to break down those walls of needing or having to be in control because I didn't think my partner was capable of providing that support.
Can you tell the don't worry, I got this story that we had a conversation for yesterday? Because it's very relevant to what you just said.
So the don't worry, I got it story was I got tattooed yesterday by Jeffrey Graham. If you don't follow him, you should. Jeffrey Graham Tattoos on TikTok. He touched up my throat. So my throat was done a year ago. We went in yesterday, over a year ago. And we went in yesterday and darkened some of it, added some more detail. And I asked Chris, I was like, does he charge for touch-ups? I don't remember. And he was like, no. And I was like, okay, so what are we tipping him? And you're like, don't worry, I got it. And I was like, oh, yeah, what else do you got? You got me? Are you going to get me next? It was very much that good little breath intake of, oh, wow, okay. My man's got it.
Yeah. That says a lot in terms of security for a woman.
Yeah, it really fucking does. And as a man, I imagine knowing that knowing I feel this way is a really big flex for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know that you don't have to worry about shit.
Yeah.
And I know that you believe that if you call me, I'm going to just handle things that need to be handled. There's a safety in that, and there's a security in that. It's just, I don't know.
You're my first call for literally any situation I can fathom.
It's the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to lean on each other. When I'm having a hard time, it's the same thing.
Yeah. There's not a single topic that I can think of where I go, I can't talk to my man about this.
Speaking of topics, real quick before you move on.
Okay.
I watched episode 28, the premiere of episode 28 today, and that was the conversation that we had about Target and Bud Light and conspiracy theories and AI.
Okay.
The chat fucking loved that.
Really?
Yeah. I kept waiting for the number count to plummet.
Huh.
And the chat was like, we need more conversations like this. We need more conspiracy theories. Like, we need more, like, this is amazing. We love this content. This is so good to see another side of you guys, blah, 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 blah. So
Ruminations, revelation topics.
yeah, or just Patreon content. I want to really start hitting Patreon hard.
Okay, Patreon content. I love that idea.
So
Record for Patreon once a week, and once a week we can do whatever we want.
mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. He always reassures me in the relationship and has never pulled the, well, I'm the man, what I say goes. He has always made me feel like a partner, even when we fall into more of the traditional roles of a heterosexual relationship. What are the traditional roles of a heterosexual relationship?
Pink job, blue job. Traditional values.
Right, but we have like lesbians who email us who do this.
Right.
I think singling it down to heterosexual is
The problem.
part of the problem.
I do too.
Okay.
I do too. I understand why she did that, but I definitely see that as an unnecessary statement.
Me too.
I really am analyzing verbiage
Me too, yeah.
way more than I ever have in my life. And it's because of these fucking emails. Like, I'm forced to pay attention or I'm going to miss something. And if I miss something and I go on a tangent, I look like a dumbass because I missed something. And because it has my undivided attention. Like I will like zone the fuck out on those sandbags
And just listen, yeah.
and listen because they're black. There's nothing for me to think about there. I'm looking at a black sandbag with nothing, but it looks like a black screen. It's almost like meditating. So I can take in everything that's being said. Yeah. Anyways.
Cobra Kai was a trip for me to watch last night because that's all I fucking do now is dissect things people say.
Yeah, you were baked and you were on it last night with that shit. You turned it into a 3-episode podcast.
I did, yeah. Having my brain work the way it works now, the show, I would put that in a category of like Sharknado for me.
Yeah.
I love it. It's such a good show. It's fantastic. I'm having so much fun watching it. Just the quality of scripting and...
Here's a thought.
Okay.
Do you think that you not unplugging from what we do day to day is the reason that you were so exhausted? Because when we turn on the TV, I shut my brain off and I zombie it and I just am a complete fucking brain mush of nothing and just try to enjoy whatever's on the TV instead of dissecting everything. And I don't feel run down like you do.
I don't think I can do that, especially when it comes to what we're watching on TV, because this is what we're being fed to in the media.
Right. Well,
The things that we're watching on TV is affecting our subconscious.
right, which is why I'm very selective about the things that I watch.
Right.
I don't watch horror movies anymore. I've taken my news down to like maybe 5% of the things that I ingest. I've actually considered turning on comedies, but I also have a hard time. I don't do it to the level that you did it last night, but I'll hear something and be like, nope, that's fucking brainwashing shit right there. But last night, maybe it was because you were very toasty last night too, though. You were talking to
having
yourself
fun
for like
last
2
night.
hours.
Last night wasn't a stressful, I can't believe I'm doing this. Last night was just, I was having fun.
You said, am I annoying you? And I'm like, no, babe, enjoy yourself. Have fun. I'm over here playing my fucking game. I've watched Cobra Kai like 6 times all the way through. So like, it's brainless for me at this point. I enjoy that shit, but it's my childhood. You know, the 80s were the 80s.
Yeah. I love the show. I'm obsessed with it. I love the Karate Kid movies.
Yeah.
Like, I had a lot of fun last night. That was me decompressing.
What did you think about the whole Johnny Lawrence being the one who was bullied conversation that we had last night? Because that kind of fucked you up a little bit.
It did fuck me up a little bit because in his actions, he was out of line. He was too aggressive,
Right.
too territorial, like teenage boy on high tea shit going on. He bullied.
He was abused.
He was also abused. Yeah. So it doesn't excuse the behavior. Is background though.
Right. But that is him reclaiming power in his life because he didn't have it at home. So he was
Right.
being a bully outside trying to reclaim that power.
Right.
But he did overdo it.
It was also in the sense of, that's my girl, man. Like, biologically, I'm sure as like a late teen, early 20s man, that's when your T's at its highest, right?
No, yes, you peak around probably 16 to 18 and it starts to drop at 26.
So that's when like that peak male instinct shit's going and boys don't know how to process that shit. Mm-hmm. So that aggression of he's impeded in on my woman, like I gotta go defend her, I gotta defend us. That aggression kicked in. Also, he's the new kid in town and he's just trying to make friends. Like your girl is the one who approached him. Why do you gotta go bully him for...
Because that was the side of the story we were shown. If the cameras would have been about Johnny Lawrence instead of Danny LaRusso, we would have gotten a very different story being told because he was having a good night with his friends, riding his motorcycles.
Right.
And then he comes to the beach and sees his girlfriend smiling and laughing, playing with another dude. They had just had like kind of a tiff. So now he could think maybe she was already talking to this guy before they broke up. Like there's a whole lot of what ifs that could happen if you look at it from a Johnny Lawrence standpoint instead of a LaRusso standpoint.
I know. I get it. I understand it. I still stand by you overreacted, my guy. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
I could see how now if he would have approached him and been like, hey man, like I don't even know, like were they broken up at that point when they were talking on the volleyball field?
I don't remember.
When teenage drama, I can't handle it.
When they were on the beach, you mean?
Yeah, when they were on the beach. It's a lot.
This says a lot about the influence that adults have on children as well.
It really does.
Anyways, we could do that as a whole separate conversation.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I would take some concentrate for that conversation.
That could be a Patreon content too.
It really can,
okay,
yeah.
let's get back to the email.
All right. So he has given me the feeling of safety and reassurance. I need to be able to tap into my femininity that I have repressed for so long.
She didn't say positive femininity or negative or toxic femininity.
Right.
See the difference in the way that people word things?
Right.
She didn't just say masculinity. She had to put positive in front of it.
Right. So now
but she didn't do it to hers.
So you are, by the way that you phrase things, now you are in your positive femininity.
Right, but she didn't word it that way. She left that out when she was wording it.
Right.
Okay. I'm pointing that out. These things matter to me.
I bet she had at some point that hardcore fourth wave feminist brain pattern.
I believe so.
I want to rewire my brain to know what a traditional relationship isn't. I want to rewire my brain to know that a traditional relationship isn't being a yes woman. That I can still be the strong businesswoman that I am and also be the woman who can hone into her femininity in this relationship that I haven't been able to do in the past. The way I've started doing that is by making sure he never feels nagged when we have issues and he feels heard when we talk about things. We also validate each other's feelings and get to the root of problems of things that make us uncomfortable. I have always been the cook, but now I'm making his plate as a small gesture of devotion and appreciation. Before, in my past relationship, I saw this as too subservient, but now I enjoy doing it for him.
So you were right in what you said about being a feminist.
Yeah.
And she also said, just so that you don't get too far ahead, she said that she doesn't want traditional to be viewed as her just being a yes woman. It's not what traditional is. To me, it's really not. Mm-hmm. This is teamwork. And the pink job, blue jobs, and the traditional aspect of that is supposed to be so that you guys can work together and function.
It's structure,
right? There's not, yes, I have final decision making, but we have discussions about all of it before decisions are made. I don't know. I think that's a very problematic mindset to have.
I want to be a better woman for him. I want to be a better partner. I know my past relationship has prevented that. And I have learning and growing I need to do. Are there other suggestions or ways you think I can show him appreciation for him as a man and him being my man, as well as help me break down those walls of having to be in the masculine or having to be the masculine one in my relationship all the time?
Why does your previous relationship affect or dictate your current one?
I agree with that question.
What does your ex have anything to do with the guy that you're with now? How is that even remotely relevant?
Right. This man has shown you that he is capable, and you feel yourself falling into femininity. I'm still hung up on that the positive masculine, but just labeling as femininity. Why deprive him of being able to love you the way that he wants to love you?
Right. Or
Due to
allowing
somebody
yourself,
else's.
right. Or allowing yourself to be loved that way.
Right.
Due to somebody else's, is what you said. Mistakes, transgressions, behavioral patterns.
Yeah, probably somebody like paying for somebody else's sins.
Yeah.
Something along the lines of that.
Yep.
Everybody's relationship's unique. There are things that I do for Chris that I'm never going to tell you guys. You're just going to have to figure it out on your own like I did. And you're with your own human being. They have their own preferences and likes that nobody else will. It's all about figuring it out.
Could you imagine how different our relationship would be if we were atoning for each other's ex's sins?
Oh, God.
Because that's what that is. If I had to pay for everything another man has done to you and you had to do the same thing, we wouldn't be able to trust each other.
No.
We wouldn't really be able to love each other. We would be able to have love for each other and we'd be able to hope for the best, but that trust wouldn't be there enough to really fucking drive that nail home.
The future would be too uncertain for me.
Right.
I'm good on that. All right. So the next one's called Single Mom.
Okay.
I'm sorry if any of this comes out wrong. I am not good with words. In one of your TikTok videos, Peaches, you said you were a single mom. In another, Chris, you said you need to put your partner first, so I have 2 questions. How were you able to let someone new come into your kid's life? Like, how did you build enough trust to let someone be close to your kids? So Chris and I had years of friendship before.
Can I answer this?
Okay, yeah.
Because
Do your thing.
she didn't just meet me, open her door and open her legs, and then open me to her kid's life. I knew you for 4 years before I met your kids.
Yeah, you did.
And we were courting for a year of that.
Yep.
Things take time.
They do.
We don't have disposable friendships. The problem is the amount of people who meet somebody on a fucking dating app, bring them home, smash, and then have them around their kids the very next day. Mm-hmm. How do you know that those people that are coming home didn't see that you're a single mom on the dating app and want access to your children?
Which is a very prevalent thing. There are child predators who have come forward and say that they specifically look for single moms because they're more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can answer the rest of that. That shit annoys me. Because that's exactly where my mind went.
I mean, that's the answer. I figured out the quality of your character. I listened to the things people said about you, the good and the bad. I made my own assessment. I know my judgment is good in my life because I don't tolerate bullshit. I know that my judgment of character and the things that I heard of you outside of the things that you've said about yourself matches up to your actions.
Yeah.
I had nothing to worry about when I brought you around my children. I knew who you were. Do you mean that you should choose your partner over your children?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it means. But not over in the sense that you're using that term.
Right. When people say something like this, I'm imagining, all right, that the kids are tied to one train track and then my husband's tied to the other. You have to pick one.
Right.
Who are you saving?
The husband. And then he's going to help me save the kids. Right. Because what if I'm not strong enough to throw that lever by myself or to get both of the kids off the track at the same time? If I take the extra 10 seconds to get my husband first, I have extra help. That's the whole point of that. There's the perfect fucking analogy. You water.
You answered that great.
You
I
water
wasn't expecting that.
You water your fucking man and your woman, and you make sure that the 2 of you have a healthy, loving relationship, and the kids fucking see that, and the 2 of you take care of the children. Because if you don't take care of yourselves and take care of each other, what's going to happen?
The kids are going to see fallout. They're going to see arguments. The mom might side with the kids more, undermining the husband. He's going to feel like he's not valued in the family. The kids are going to see a man become a shell of himself.
And all of that is going to lead to a single parent household.
Or it's going to lead to 2 kids growing up saying, why the fuck didn't you divorce before we moved out?
Right. I don't understand why that concept is so fucking hard for people to wrap their head around. When people say that to me, the first time I heard that you pick your partner over your person, hang on, I have to. So while you're putting everything back on from that call, what I was going to say was the first time I heard somebody say that the put your spouse before your kids thing, I didn't go, oh my God, that's so fucked up. Why would you ever do that? I listened to what they said, and I went, wait a minute. That's the first time I've ever heard that. And that really makes fucking sense.
Right.
Because you're supposed to be a team.
Yeah.
And like in the course of probably 30 seconds, I processed all that information with no explanation. Because that statement by itself makes sense. You're supposed to be a team. It's supposed to be both parents raising the children. It's supposed to be two loving adults nurturing their relationship, because eventually kids are going to move out. 18, 19, 20 years old, they're going to go get their own life.
And your relationship's going to be a model.
Right. But more than that, your relationship should be what's left when the kids move out. And when that empty nest syndrome kicks in, what do you think's going to happen? You guys, if you're not together and that fucking depression kicks in and there's a whole lot of turmoil going on, it's going to further divide the house. So what happens? You raise two kids until they're in their 20s. They bounce, start their own family, probably toxic and fucked up because they didn't have a realization or a proper example of how that's supposed to look.
You don't talk to them often.
And you find yourself in your 40s or 50s back in the fucking dating scene, not trusting people, jaded as a motherfucker because your 20-year marriage didn't work out. How does that not make sense? Why?
I love the way you just laid that out.
I don't understand how people's brains don't work like that. I know that my perception is my reality. The way that I view the world is my view. But I expect everyone to view it that way because this is my normal. I know because of what we do and the shit that I've read that that's not the case. But it still aggravates the shit out of me when people don't understand things the way that I...
Right, because it's logic to you.
Right, it's common sense,
Yeah.
and it's not to everyone else. And it's so hard for me to turn that dial from like 11 to 2
Yeah.
and go,
Deep breath.
okay, let me explain this to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It does. It definitely gets infuriating, especially when...
Carlos is here.
Oh.
You were about to make a point.
Was I?
Yep, and I interrupted it because the guy is here to detail our cars.
How unfortunate. I saw a video of little tiny turtles being groomed on their tummies with a little brush.
Yeah, they love that shit.
He was so happy. He was like...
Is that why you forgot what you were talking about?
Yeah, he was just living his best life, getting his tummy groomed.
Yeah, we need to do an Instacart order today, and when we do that, I need to get super glue to glue this right here.
I'm gonna add it to the cart now.
Okay, do Gorilla Glue.
Okay, because I will forget. I know me.
And if you can't remember what you were going to say on that last email, let's just move on to the next one.
I will not remember. That bad boy is gone. Okay, so this email is called "I'm a person too. When do I get treated like one?" I'm going to apologize first off for this being so long, but y'all asked for as much detail as possible to help, so that's simply what I'm trying to do.